My name is Phil Pangrazio, and I'm the former president and CEO of Ability360.
Hi, I'm Scott Hogsett. I've been part of Ability360 Phoenix Heat for about 15 years now. I've been the head coach and player for, at least 20 years.
I'm Gary Venjohn. I was the executive director and coach for the Banner Wheelchair Sons. I volunteered and did a lot of help work, I guess, around here.
Prior to practicing at Ability360, we used to practice at a junior high called Hendricks.
The early days were tough. We started the team in 1987, and at that time, it was hard to get even just a practice facility, much less to find a place to host tournaments and games that have shot clocks and all the stuff that we would need. A lot of times we were the last ones to get facilities and the first ones to get kicked out, because everybody back then thought these chairs were ruining the basketball courts.
And it was pretty bad. As you can imagine, a grade school cafeteria with really low ceilings, and there was pillars everywhere, and guys were running into the pillars, and the ball would bounce off the ceiling half the time.
It was such a pain. We'd have to wait for someone to unlock the doors, and we'd have to pay for the facility and get to practice once a week, and it just wasn't enough.
It was always one of the guys that either had a wife or a girlfriend that would come to practice, which I feel sorry for them. And of course, if one of us fell out of our chair at the time, they would kind of help scrape us off the ground and put us back in our wheelchair. So that was the early days, and it was pretty crude.
Well, we used to joke around over beers. We're like, could you imagine how good our team would be if we had our own home court? And we didn't even really know how to go about it. We just used to talk about it.
I don't think any of us, were thinking, oh, we're going to build a facility with what? We didn't have anything to build a facility with. So it wasn't really until I started working at Ability360 as the CEO, and then even 4 or 5 years into being the CEO, it was kind of out of the blue in some ways. The city of Phoenix was going forward with their 2006 bond package. That's when I started talking to the board about, hey, we're still going to be left with 2.5 acres of land. We could do something with this, and there's enough land to do a sports and fitness center. We had to develop a presentation and how that was going to serve the disability community and certainly the large number of people with disabilities living in the greater Phoenix metropolitan area.
I gave a presentation about the need for this facility and just for the conditioning and everything else, and that how much this was needed because people with disabilities did not have a home, and we think we deserve a home.
We did a quick introduction to the presentation, or to the concept, and then we hit the old murder ball button.
We're here in the screening room at Paramount Studios, and we're getting ready to watch a new movie called Murder Ball.
Murder Ball was a documentary that was done on the 2004 Paralympic wheelchair rugby team. The movie did extremely well. There were some characters in the movie, including myself, that were featured that live here in Phoenix, Arizona. It was an all-access pass to this crazy world of wheelchair rugby and also to the disabled athletes that play that sport.
And that played for everybody, and that was the real hook. I mean, when everybody saw that, they were like, you're gonna put that in that sport? You mean that game's gonna be played in that sports and fitness center? And we're like, yep, that's one of the sports that's gonna play there. And they just fell in love with it. I mean, we knew we had them at that point. So what the bond did for us is it provided leverage to get the other big donors, because we got $5.3 million from the city, which was unheard of.
David Reese, who is a big part of my life, he's like family. He was hooked on the sport of wheelchair rugby, and he wanted to do whatever he could to make our sport, our situation better. I introduced him to Phil, and the three of us had a conversation about possibly bringing our pipe dream that Phil and I had of Ability360 to life.
I just asked him if they'd be okay. I said, hey, we're looking to, parlay more donors for the project. David is such a wonderful person, and his wife Wheezy and their children too. They're great people. They're loving, caring, community-oriented people. I mean, I think he was on board from the first words out of my mouth, so it went really well.
Feels like yesterday. A lot of emotions went through when we came through the door for the first time. And so what this place does, it changes people's mentality, it gives them hope. And most of all, they wake up every morning and go, I have somewhere to go.
The first time coming into practice was just great, you know, like it's the first time you buy a home and you get the keys, you come in, the first thing is, you know, when this was finished, there was nothing like it in the Western United States.
I just know how important it is. And that's the satisfaction I get, knowing that there are so many folks with disabilities that are benefiting, and them being able to come here and use this place and meet other people and I just know it's changing their lives. So that's the satisfaction I get from it, and that's what I love about it.